If you're like me and you use your barbecue a lot, you're definitely gonna wanna make sure that you're doing your maintenance and cleaning. And today I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna take apart my Weber Genesis barbecue and how I'm gonna clean it and get it ready to go again. Welcome back to The Average Kitchen. Today we're gonna do a non-cooking video. Today I'm gonna show you how to take apart my Weber Genesis barbecue and give it a clean. So I'm gonna throw some gloves on here, and the first things we're gonna wanna do is pull these grills off. So I'm gonna shake off some of this stuff here if we can. And we're just gonna sort of lean those there. So I am guilty of using a lot of marinades on everything that I cook. The downside of that is you get this. Can you see that, Jamie? And all that grime and excess marinade that had fallen off whatever I was cooking, what ends up happening with that is it causes flare-ups and you get uneven cook on your barbecue. So we're gonna take these heat deflectors, off and try to pull off as much of this crap as we can. So I actually have a scraper that I'm going to just sort of give a quick scrape along the edges here, just to make sure we get all that stuff off. So I probably do this every couple months. Again, I'm a pretty avid barbecuer, smoker, so it's definitely something that I try to keep up on. Barbecues cook pretty hot, so a lot of times you can burn off any excess, but at the same time, as you can see here, there's a lot of stuff that ends up falling down that doesn't burn off. So we're gonna take these plates off as well, and we're gonna give those a scrape. So this barbecue is probably 5 or 6 years old. Definitely the best barbecue I've ever owned. Everybody's sort of preferential to what brand they like, but I grew up, my dad had a Weber barbecue that lasted like 20 years, so I figured I'd try to do the same thing. So you can see there's quite a bit of stuff coming off here, and it's all caked on there. So you'll see at the bottom, it's hard to see because there's so much stuff, that I actually have some tinfoil at the bottom, and I always do that to help catch all of this stuff when it comes time to cleaning. So I'm also gonna take my scraper and I'm just gonna scrape down some of this excess on the sides here. And obviously you can use your hands, pull that down. And you want to have a look at your burners and make sure that there's no obstructions in any of the holes here. Because again, that's going to restrict your propane and your natural gas coming through your burners, and it's going to affect your cook. So it's pretty bad right now, and I must admit I purposely let it go a little bit longer because I anticipated doing this video. So it's not normally in this state, but it's almost an exaggerated example of how it could look if you let it go longer than you should. Now, if you want to get really fancy, which I'm not going to do today, you can grab a shop vac and vacuum out all the little bits, but I think that this is going to give us a really good cleaning. So now what I'm going to try to do is carefully pull out this tray. And what I'm going to do is just grab a grocery bag here and try to make as least amount of a mess as possible. So by scooping this up and putting that in the bag, and then we're just going to loosen up this stuff, and then I'll end up dumping that in as well. All right, I also pulled out this small grease catcher, I guess, so that I had also had some foil in. So I'm just going to give that a quick wipe and put that off to the side, and then we'll just give this a quick wipe out as well. Now, if you wanted to get really fancy, you could take this inside and completely wash it, but we're not going to do that today. Trusty old heavy-duty aluminum foil here, and we're going to make ourselves another, that's not going to stay, running out of shelf room here. We're just going to lay that in there. Doesn't have to look fancy, just has to work. And we'll double up, I think, here. Again, doesn't have to look fancy, just the whole purpose of this is to catch anything that falls underneath. So we're gonna throw that back in. And sometimes you gotta reset your foil. And there is a little hole that we'll just make right there. And we'll put some foil in the other tray, and we're laughing. Now they may sell fancy tray inserts for these, and by all means get them if you want, but I just find a little bit of aluminum foil makes it go pretty easy. It just sits there like that. So next step, rebuild. So we're gonna put our trays in, our heat deflectors. So you'll see that there's grooves on both sides that sits in there. So there's really only one way it can go. On both sides here, you'll see that sits in there nice. And I normally try to rotate these. Like most of you, there's probably a side that you prefer to cook on, you get better heat, whatever. For me, it's on the right side. So I usually try to rotate these just based on the way they look. These ones are pretty dark, so they were probably on the right side before. And again, you'll see that those just sit right into the grooves here and they really can't move. Like so and like that. So you see how those are solid into place. The best way to clean your grill, in my opinion, the grills themselves, is just to get this barbecue ripping hot and let it burn off. You'll see there's some residue underneath. Again, tons of cooks, lots of marinade. So this is just some all natural grill cleaner and a wife approved rag. So you're probably gonna wanna run it through whoever your significant other is to make sure, because this rag is probably not gonna go back into the closet. It's gonna be pretty much garbage. So we'll give it a good spray and then we'll give it a couple minutes to sort of sit and soak. Now, if you're fortunate enough like myself, to have a big garage that this can be stored inside 365 days a year, it doesn't get weathered. If you have to store it outside, I strongly suggest you get a cover for it to really help make it last. So now we're just gonna start wiping this down, and you'll see very quickly that this degreaser does a really good job. So it's really getting nice and clean there. I'm not gonna say it looks brand new, but it looks pretty good. The other thing I'll say about this barbecue that I'm really impressed with, it's got this battery operated ignition. I bet you it's been 2 or 3 years since I've had to change this battery, which is, I think, pretty impressive. So you'll see here again, Jamie, super greasy shelf, mostly because we just put all of our stuff on there. But we're gonna give that a wipe, and pretty quickly you'll see that stuff comes off. Really nice, and also doesn't leave a residue behind. Probably gonna hit this with a little bit more down along the bottom, and probably gonna get some on the back side here. Again, we'll give that a minute or so to soak. It's not going back in the closet. It's gonna go in the garbage, Jamie. So a couple streaks up on here, but I think once the heat hits that, that'll get rid of that. So let's fire it up. So this barbecue's propane, so we'll open up that lid or the valve all the way. I usually start on the left side. There, all three fired up. Let's get that nice and hot and give that grill a scrape. So the barbecue's right around 500 degrees Fahrenheit, 250 degrees Celsius. So we're gonna open up that lid and we're just gonna give our grills a nice scrape. And if you want, you can go down in between the grills to help knock off some of that excess grime. I definitely recommend these wooden pallet scraper things as opposed to the wire brush ones. There has been stories of the wire brush bristles coming off, sticking to the grill and then embedding into the meat, which is pretty scary. So I switched to one of these a couple of years ago, and I definitely find they work pretty well. One thing is for sure, a clean barbecue and a clean cooking area will definitely give you more consistent heat and will make for a quicker, better cook. So I'm gonna continue to work on the grills here. That's my video today on the Average Kitchen. Check out some of our other videos, and if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.